JJ puts the crown on your heads, I've noticed that's even caught on with the defensive celebration too. Do you remember how that started and why that's become a thing with you all?
I can't remember exactly when it started, if it was the first game or one of the games after that, but it's just been a rolling thing, and it's working for us, so we can keep that up.
What's the meaning behind that?
It's just like everyone was able to, contribute to that touchdown on the drive, but whoever punched it in and then got that crown. It's like sort of how the defense does like that turnover the glasses, or like takes a photo after a turnover. Just a fun thing to do. Just having fun with each other, trying to celebrate.
Cornelius, Washington did a pretty good job containing most of Texas's biggest weapons. I'm just curious what you've seen on tape going into this game and what you think you guys need to do to maybe get some more of those explosive plays.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, Washington's a very talented team, very well deserving of being here, winning all those games out west, winning the Pac-12, beating Texas in the Sugar Bowl. So it'll be a great matchup coming in Monday night. We just got to go route for route, hit for hit with all those guys and just battle and keep fighting and trust each other. So that's a good question, saying like how they shut down Texas, shut down all the rest of their opponents. So you find what can work for us, and we'll have a good game plan, I'm sure.
Cornelius, there's been a lot of speculation about Jim Harbaugh's future. Does it seem you guys talk about that much amongst yourselves? You guys talk about that much amongst yourselves? Not saying you know what's going to happen, just kind of trying to figure out.
Yeah. So, like, in terms of Jim Harbaugh's future, like, he would probably say the same thing. Like, right now, thinking about that wouldn't really help us much Monday night, you know what I mean? So, like, it's all so close and all also real right now. So to be able to try and start speculating about everybody's future isn't going to be the best in our favor come Monday night against the Huskies. So, like, he'd probably say the same thing. Like, right now we're just focused on the Huskies. I know it's a generic answer, but, after the game, you take a second to pause and reflect on the season and then move on from there. So that'll be a quick turnaround once the game's over. But right now we're all just bought in on that, trying to enjoy this moment with our team, because after this it's not going to be the same. So we're just really trying to take this all in and go out there Monday night and play hard. I mean, he can really do anything. Probably he could come back forever. He could probably just retire if he wanted to. It could be his last coaching game for all I know. Or he can go coach somewhere overseas, coach in another state. I mean, the world is his.
If I've got this right, you're one of just two guys that started at Washington in 2021 and still starting for Michigan. What do you see different from that Washington team that bottomed out that year to this one that's run the table like you guys have?
Yeah, that 2021 Washington team you're talking about had a lot of guys. I mean, it was me, Roman, Blake was on that team, Trevor, Zach, Mikey. All those guys faced those guys in 2021 on that day. And since then, a lot's changed for both squads, obviously. But just thinking back on that doesn't even feel like it was really that long ago. And playing them again in a neutral site is going to be interesting because we got them last time, and now we got to spin the block and do it again.
Surprised they're that much better in such a short amount of time?
I mean, that's a good point. They weren't even like that bad. We did beat them in our building, but they had a decent season and they're a solid team. They were able to come back and win the Pac-12 and eventually climb to the top of the Pac-12, which is very good for them. So I'm not surprised. They got a lot of good talent, a lot of guys over there.
Hey, Cornelius, you guys had about 3 to 4 weeks to prepare for Alabama, just all that waiting time.
Yeah.
Now you have just a normal game week finally, just 7 days to prepare for Washington. Are you more excited that you have kind of more of a rhythm and back to normalcy, being able to prepare for a normal game week than having all this talk, all that pressure just on you guys for 3 to 4 weeks?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, having that whole month off can kind of throw off your timing a little bit because you got guys going back home, maybe like the holidays, you got finals, school, like all these different things going on within that month. So to be able to come back here like a regular game week throughout the season, just Monday to Monday, definitely puts you in that rhythm. So like today would be like a Thursday, for example, playing on Monday, it's Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, usually play on Saturdays. So treating today like a Thursday, how it would be. And like you just tell yourself those things mentally to get yourself locked in. So that's a good question.
Hi here, Cornelius. I'm a big fan. Been watching you for a while. Try to take the stress off of you for a second. We heard you love chess. We heard you play the tennis. We just want to know, what is your fastest time of winning a chess match?
It's a great question. Fastest time winning a chess game. There's been a move. There's a move you can do. I think you can checkmate somebody in like 3 moves. I've got someone with that before. I've got Ike with that. He's a little slower on the chessboard, but there's been a lot of good games. Sometimes I play those bullet games, those like fast 2-minute games, 5-minute games. Those go by quick with the timer. So I still need practice on that. Usually I just like taking my time. But there's a couple moves you can do to checkmate someone really fast. It's a good question. Appreciate you.
Wanted to ask you just about, and forgive me if you've been asked this already today, about the experience on both sides. Talk about that. A lot of different players, especially on offense, right now, Washington, how do you think that plays out in this game? And, is it any coincidence that two teams have that kind of roster makeup this far?
Yeah, like both teams got some solid experience, on both sides of the ball. That can help, because the situation, you know the game at the college level, and that can take you far in terms of executing in late game scenarios or just that confidence that you got going into it. So, like I said earlier, like both teams got to come in with that mindset. That helps the experience, but at certain times, all that matters is when the ball's snapped. You can be a true freshman, you can be a senior. Either way, like, we're just focused on, if you got an assignment, you try and do that the best you can either way. So the experience does help. That's what we're focused on. Yeah, follow up.
Real quick follow-up. How unusual is it in 2024 that there's not one true freshman starting on either side?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy to think about. I mean, usually you got a couple like rookies in there, making a difference, but there's still going to be some guys either way, either way making a difference. Freshman, sophomore, senior, all those young guys. We got some guys who can definitely make a difference for us on both sides of the ball. So on their team too, I mean, they got some guys on their roster who are younger and some who are very very much more experienced and on the older side. So it's just crazy to see these two teams finally meet. Both teams been undefeated the whole season. Been kind of watching them here and there throughout the season. I wouldn't have thought we would be playing them in the national championship. You never know how it's going to play out, but this is how it's playing out now.
So on a lighter note, you've had a chance now with 2 big bowls in a row. What's been your favorite thing in the hospitality suite?
So compared to the Los Angeles Rose Bowl and this Houston, I guess you can call this a bowl game technically, kind of the same type of vibe. If I were to compare the two cities or the two like hospitality suites more specifically, they got a lot of like the Madden games. I'm more Xbox rather than PlayStation. I like the Xbox more, but they got the nice little like massage chairs. They got like ping pong tables, pool tables, and anytime you just want to like kick it for a second, just relax with your teammates. I feel like the one here is definitely better.
What's your favorite gift that you've gotten out of it?
The favorite what?
Like item gift, like.
Ooh, let's see. We got these cool watches. I know both teams I think get those watches, but that's a good collector's item. And like my favorite part of the watch that we got is the box that it's in. It's a really cool box and design. So like I like the box more than the watch actually, which is funny.
What do you think of, you mentioned, you had an eye on Washington maybe during the season and
Yeah.
So this becomes a conference game after this year. What do you think of with them coming into the Big Ten and how Michigan, Washington would be playing for conference championships as time goes on?
Nah, that's crazy to think about. I mean, like you said, I've been watching them all year. Both teams going undefeated. Going into this one, like now they're moving from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten. Me personally, like all that stuff's changing. The whole next season is gonna be totally different with the conferences. The playoffs is gonna be different. Probably different like uniform rules I've heard. So me personally, I think that whole thing was like kind of unnecessary, but I guess it's for like they got their reasons. I'm sure whatever their reasons are. But I always thought like just stay in the Pac-12, keep the Pac-12, keep the ACC. It was perfectly fine the way it is. Like I was a big fan of this 14 playoffs. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way, but I thought it was perfectly fine the way it is. They didn't need to switch it up. But the fact that they did, you just got to roll with it and then just take what they give you. So there's going to be good in that too. So I'm excited to see both ways. Like that's going to be a good experience. I'm excited to see how it plays out next year with that first year with everything new going on. It's going to be weird to get adjusted to for a sec because there's never been that many changes in 1 year to the next. Like maybe the playoffs will change, but not like all that in 1 year, not the conferences on all that. So that's crazy. Yeah, it was definitely about the money. I mean, at some point, it's about the money. But I always liked the Pac-12. I thought that was like actually one of the more underrated conferences. Like, it's a fun little, it was a great conference. So this one's Pac-12 versus Big Ten, the national championship Monday night. Yeah. Good. I had pretty good sleep last night. Excited to come in here and just get to work.
I'm going to ask you to go in the time machine a little bit, back to when you were younger, when you played with Kyle Jackson out of Michigan, Washington now. Did you ever think this moment would happen when you're not playing for a championship together, but playing against him?
Well, when he first transferred to Washington, we played him at our place, and he came back, and that was like the return. We called that in our little group chat because he was like, it had like a double meaning because he's like a kickoff returner, punt returner. So like it was like the return, but it was also like the return for him back to Ann Arbor. So I thought that was funny.
As far as you guys' relationship, like were you guys super close with? I know you were the same receivers, or were you two pretty close?
Yeah, for sure. We were pretty close. It was funny, like me, him, and Mikey were all in like the same wide receiver class. And then like, we'd go out, go get food, go to like different social events together, just hang out together at the house. So, going against him, I might have to mess with him pregame, just say what's up to him.
After that Alabama game, one of the first games of the season, really the team kind of went through some of that adversity, kind of had some mistakes, and they had to kind of rewrite it. How have you seen guys, even in that game specifically, make bigger plays later in the game, and how is that going to transpire possibly to the biggest stage right now?
Yeah, for sure. Like even throughout the whole season, there's been a lot of highs and lows, like through the big games, and even like all the other rest of the games on the schedule. Just taking those key moments and trying to use that for confidence, like you said. Maybe you're down by a couple points, maybe you're up by a couple points, and they get some points, and you make a couple mistakes. But being able to come back from that and get that victory is what matters most in the end. That's what we've been able to do. That's what they've been able to do too. So they can say the same thing on their side, but something's got to give on Monday night. Yeah, I just remember watching all those like 2018, 17, 16, 15 games, and with those now NFL stars coming up, just watching that in my living room and just trying to be like, dang, like it'd be crazy to play one of these games on such a big stage in the college football playoff and eventually the national championship. Like always watch it just to see, all the talent on both sides. So being here, it almost feels like the Super Bowl or something, which is what it is, college football Super Bowl. So it's the top stage in college football. No one else is playing right now except us, and it's gonna be fun to go out there. For me personally, my senior year, my last game could be the national championship. Like, there's no better way to go out than that. That's another good point too, because we were even talking about that with like the bowl games, like the Rose Bowl and stuff. Like, it might not have the same meaning, for a while. All these bowl games, and all these little games like that, Michigan-Ohio State game might not have the same meaning as it has for the past, several years. because of the format and because of the way it's playing out. Like, it used to be like you would play that game and that would mean, that was basically the championship right then and there. So now, things are getting adjusted. It almost feels more like an NFL type of schedule with the playoffs. So being here with this last year with this format, it's been, I think, 10 years. I've been seeing that, like, year 10. So it's cool how it worked out. It's a little 10-year experiment with the with the college football playoffs. So looking back at these 10 years with it, I feel like it's been pretty solid. And I feel like at some point they might even come back to it. Like, say, for example, they do the 12-team playoff, and that goes on for 10 years. They might just say, let's go back to that 4-team. So, like, they just can do whatever they want,
When you look back at where this team was in 2020, only won 2 wins that season, and obviously there's everyone that talks about the culture shift. But when you think about it, could you ever imagine that you guys would be here at this moment back in 2020?
Yeah, I mean, back in 2020, a lot of things were different. People were opting out left and right. Some people didn't even want to be there. Like, it was a totally different experience. But coming back now, that season, we did a lot that season in terms of our training and preparation and trying to get adjusted through the pandemic. So to only come out with 2 wins was crazy because we did a lot for those 2 wins. Talking about that 2020 year. He was there for that 2020 year. Tristan, you got a question? What's up? We had a tournament this summer. Some of the guys on the team, little chess round robin, and I swept everybody. But he was the only one. Tristan was the only one that got 1 game off me. But I still won the series, though. That doesn't matter most. Got that dub. Best chess player on the team.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand by as the Michigan players rotate podiums.
Okay. So you're just talking about, like, coming in every day with that same mindset. Like, before we, go into the facility, we just try and, like, recommit ourselves every day. Think about that day you committed, that day you said, I commit to the University of Michigan football team, and, like, what that meant. And then just think about that every day you wake up. Like, that still is a real thing. And, like, we're trying to all buy in together to win that national championship. Starts with, winning your first game. Obviously, you can't, like, overthink that. But, then you beat your rivals, win the Big Ten, win that bowl game. So this is the farthest we've gone since I've been here at this national championship stage. There's 1 more to go. So we gotta finish the job.
I just wanted to follow up with what was asked earlier about Josh Jackson. I mean, you were asking about how tight you are. I assume there's been some banter back and forth between you guys. What came about and what has been the iteration?
For sure. I mean, there's been a lot of situations where, like, we might have played, one of our former teammates, something like that throughout the whole year, and being able to see that, like, it's always funny to see him before the game, after the game, and going into that week, just like talking smack back and forth. It is serious because they are, the opponents now. So until then, I'm not friends with them till after the game. That's the mindset. Well, it's here and there, but eventually that talk dies down because it's all going to come down to once that ball is snapped. Yeah.
Any talk this week about Michael Penix being the quarterback of Indiana 3 years ago, getting the only win over Michigan in 30+ years, and getting a little revenge on him?
That's a good question because against Penix, he was there in 2020, during that season, and he got us that year. So now we gotta spin the block. We gotta spin the block and even that up. So we don't forget that at all. So we gotta even could go back as far as that. So, watch tape throughout his whole career, try and pick out anything we can find, to be an advantage for us come Monday night. It's a good point.
Hey, Cornelius, from your viewpoint, how much fun do you see Coach Harbaugh having on a daily basis? Is he just always having a blast, or do you see it differently behind the scenes?
Yeah, I think he's got a great relationship with the players right now. He's just like in there with us. Like yesterday, me and some of my teammates were just sitting down eating dinner, and then he came up to us with his family and just asked if he could come sit with us. Things like that. Like it's just all togetherness. And then I think he's having a great time. Being able to do this with his family and with his team. This is all his team. All his recruiting classes. All his guys he's recruited and got here and worked so hard to get to this point. So I'm sure for him as a head coach, the world is his right now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.